Free beer and hot wings in the morning. Grand Rapids rocks all day. 97.9 GRD rocks.
Showers and thunderstorms, 54 the high. It's 37 and rainy now. Brent Ashcroft is here from Channel 13, WGRD-FM. He just told me something off the air that blew my mind.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about Brent used to do, was a sports anchor before shifting to the current role.
Yes.
Where, Joe, how did you refer to him off the air?
Like Steve Hartman, local Steve Hartman, who does On the Road on CBS on Sunday mornings.
You've been doing long-form stories for WGRD-FM about Michigan things.
Yep.
For 3 years?
You could actually stretch it back longer than that, but consistently, on a consistent basis, it's been for 3 years, yeah.
So just by coincidence, you referenced a story you just did. You were telling us off the air. You said, I still get to do sports. I get to do the stories. And you referenced this high school coach in Beaverton, Michigan, which is up in the middle, just northern middle of the state. And I used to do high school games in 1996, 97, or rather 94, 95. And he was the coach, and I would have guessed he was 75 years old then. And he was terrifying. Very kind of a gruff guy, but not a bad guy.
No, not
just
at all.
Intimidating.
Roy Johnston, he wears his red jacket in every game. He's been the head varsity basketball coach at Beaverton for 43 years.
Wow.
And we did a story on him a couple of weeks ago. He became the all-time winningest boys varsity basketball coach in the state of Michigan, 729 wins. And it's just amazing when you think about all the great basketball teams, high school basketball teams in the state. You would think, there would be another coach somewhere. But in this little tiny town in Gladwin County, 2 hours northeast of Grand Rapids, you got this icon. And he told me he's going to coach till he's 80. So 6 more years. He's going to be at 800 or over 800 wins. They average 16 wins a season at Beaverton.
Right. Yeah, they were always good.
Wow.
They were always good. I can't believe it. Like, if you had said, first of all, I wouldn't have even remembered his name until you said it. And I went, oh my gosh. But thank God I was wrong. I would have guessed he would have done. Like I said, he seemed 75 then. You know how when you're 20, everybody who's older than 35 seems like they're 50 to 80.
Especially if is he like bald or gray or anything like that, has old man features, or always has.
Yeah. I mean, he just, he had bigger guy, kind of barrel-chested.
Does he get red-faced during games?
Oh, yeah, he's got a scowl.
Oh, that's why. Yeah, that makes everyone look old.
You'd swear it's Judd Heathcote, if you remember him at Michigan State.
I always compared him to, at the time, Judd Heathcote and Gene Cady.
Yeah, totally.
Like,
Gene
have
Cady.
you ever enjoyed a moment?
Gene Cady better. Better than,
But away from the court, probably a very, kind, loving man. Just, likes to wear frustration on their face. So Sunday night after the Oscars, you have a story about a young boy named Bo Velarde Chan.
Yes.
And this is going to be something. Tell us about Bo and this story.
Yeah, Bo, we met him 3 weeks ago today, actually. He is a Make-A-Wish kid, and because of that, he qualified for a wish. And Make-A-Wish Michigan sent him to Orlando, where they eventually got on a Disney cruise and took a ride on the cruise boat for a week. But there was a collaboration between myself, Gerald R. Ford Airport, and Make-A-Wish to have a Star Wars moment for him at the airport. So
you're a big collector, and there's a group that I can't remember their name.
The Great Lakes Garrison. It is a Michigan Star Wars costuming club here in Michigan.
Our friend Combs is.
Yeah, Major Combs.
I got him in. Yeah. And so he was shocked. I mean, he's at the airport. His family's coming up to the gate, getting ready to board the plane. And next thing you know, Tara Hernandez, who's the director of marketing at Ford Airport, gets on the intercom and says, the Star Destroyer has just landed at Ford Airport and opened the jetway, and out comes 8 or 9 costume characters. And Bo was just floored and crazed. Well,
that's awesome.
Long story short, I mean, it was an amazing moment. I did a story on it that night and tweeted it out. 24 hours later, I'm sitting at home. This is where the story gets interesting. I'm just sitting at home watching TV. It was middle of the afternoon on a Saturday, and I see my phone blow up with this big blue message. And Mark Hamill just tweeted my story.
Wow. That's huge.
It wasn't a retweet. He took the time to go in, watch it, and then tweet it out with a message specifically tailored to Bo, to his 1.6 million Twitter followers.
Holy moly.
That's cool.
So I'm freaking out. I mean, as a Star Wars fan, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. What? It's
like Skywalker dialed your phone.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah. So then, exactly. Well, then, obviously that became a story. MLive then did a story on that tweet the next day on Sunday.
Yeah.
24 hours after that, now we're to Sunday afternoon. I'm sitting on the couch again, and I see 3 Twitter things pop up. Mark Hamill now is following me back on Twitter. No joke.
Right.
Wow.
And I've been following him for 1 or 2 years anyway, but now he's following me back. So I'm now thinking, I'm playing with house money.
You got to slide into his DMs quick.
You're right.
I'm playing with house money. What I mean by that is I could direct message him now.
Right.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I did. I'm like, I'm direct messaging Luke Skywalker right now. I'm going to thank him for, taking the time. He probably gets tagged on 1,000 or 2,000 tweets a day, right?
bet, yeah.
Right.
But he took the time on that particular tweet to watch that story and to send a message out to that kid. So I thanked him on that. And then I just said, I don't know if you're able. I don't know if Disney or Lucasfilm will allow you, but would you be interested in possibly Skype chatting with Bo when he comes back from his cruise?
Yeah.
And Mark Hamill got back to me right away and said, I would love to do it. I work with Make-A-Wish. I've been working with Make-A-Wish for decades, and you just send me some details and we'll make it happen.
What a guy.
Well, that makes
awesome.
him seem like a truly, genuinely nice human.
So for the next 10 days, I literally have been chat messaging with Luke Skywalker. Wow. I mean, I was on a story a week ago today, and Mark Hamill is texting me, or we're trying to pin down the day and the time to do this, and I have to take a time out from the story I'm on. Hey guys, Luke Skywalker is trying to I'm trying to work something out with Luke here, so we're gonna have to postpone this particular story for a little bit. I got to get this down. So we nailed down a day and a time this past Monday. Bo and his mom drove up to WZZM from Kalamazoo, and it was 2:00 in the afternoon in one of our conference rooms, and they talked for close to 15 minutes.
That's incredible.
It really is.
And Bo, I'm sure, just head over heels.
Oh, he was just. You should. The kid had no fear.
Yeah.
I mean, he was asking, what's your favorite food? What's your favorite ice cream?
Right.
And then of course he got hard hitting. Who's Ray's dad?
Did he really?
Oh yeah, and one of his questions was, "Does Luke die in the next movie?"
Oh my God!
So he's asking Luke if Luke dies in the next movie.
He's asking all the questions that anyone doing a docket with Mark Hamill would be told, or a press junket would be told. Don't ask these questions.
Yeah. And he's just letting it fly. And one of the other anecdotal moments was, he asked him what college he went to. Mark Hamill was talking about some small college in Los Angeles, and Bo goes, "Never heard of it."
As a kid who deals with so much, he's unfazed by the moment.
You hear about that all the time.
Yeah, where kids that are involved in Make-A-Wish or whatever, they've
gone through a lot,
Yeah.
and so when it comes to that, they're fearless, or they have the best senses of humor.
The disease he has is microvillus inclusion disease. He's one of 18 people in the world
So wild.
that are suffering from this. He has to have all of his nutrients and food fed through him through a port directly into his heart to survive.
Wow.
So this is why it's a life-threatening situation for him, which qualifies him for Make-A-Wish. But, yeah, I mean, if Mark Hamill doesn't follow me back on Twitter, and if I don't direct message him and ask him to do this story isn't happening. It would have been done 3 weeks ago, and we move on.
Yeah.
So it's amazing what can evolve sometimes.
Still would have been a good story.
Absolutely. It was a good story.
Yeah.
Well, this is great. We're looking forward to seeing it. That's Sunday night after the Oscars on WZZM. Of course, the Oscars on WZZM. Well, this is great.
Yeah.
What else do you have? Can you tell us anything else that's in the tube that you're working on right now? Because you get tipped off on stories. You just did the one earlier this week about the war and when the war came to door.
It aired last night when the war came to door. It was about the Fugo Japanese balloon bomb that was launched in Honshu, Japan sometime in November, December of 1944. And somehow it caught the jet stream and rode it all the way from Japan to Dorr, Michigan.
Is this
crazy.
something
It's the truth.
know about that?
Truth.
No, I have never heard of that.
Three 10-year-old boys were playing out in the farmland that afternoon. It was February 23rd, 1945, so it was 72 years ago yesterday, which is why we aired it yesterday. It was on the anniversary. And they just were out playing in a winter day and saw this huge blob floating through the sky and decided to go after it. And the good thing was the bomb wasn't on it anymore. There were charred metal remains on the ropes, so the bomb had been dropped somewhere. But, long story short, not many people know about that. That's the kind of stuff I like to do. Find those types of stories. I was able to interview in that story one of the 3 boys who found it.
Wow.
Yeah, he's 81 years old. He now lives in Newaygo.
No kidding.
That's wild.
Yeah, so it was fun.
For every good tip on a story like that, How many bad tips do you get? We're like, hey, you should interview my dad. He's double jointed. You know,
I get a lot of emails, and I look through every single one of them. I get a lot of phone calls with story ideas, and I tend to always look for stories that have reveal structure in them. How can I go about telling this story? Can I go about telling a story visually where I don't give up the golden goose early, and I can kind of build it out and get to something? So I'm focusing on viewer experience and taking them on a ride for 4.5 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
So sometimes I'm able to get good ones like that. Like last year, an 80-year-old woman in Hart, Michigan, was given a birthday present by her daughter to march in the band one last time up there because she was marched in the band in the 1950s. So we were able to go up there, and here she is 80, and she's with 75 17-year-olds, and it was just visually it was awesome to see.
Who doesn't love those
stories?
Moments?
Yeah. Well, the stories that you would never hear if it weren't for a segment like this. If it weren't for you, it just happens, and that's that.
And that's my job now. I specifically am looking constantly to feed the franchise, which is called Our Michigan Life. And, it's not Our West Michigan Life, which is why I was able to go up to Beaverton and do the story on Roy Johnston.
Right.
And I do shipwreck stories. I'm going to be doing some shipwreck stories coming up, too. Lake Huron.
Yeah.
That's Michigan, right?
Yeah.
So
Everybody loves shipwreck stories.
Yeah, I've done a lot of those.
Shipwrecks and caverns.
Oh.
Or hidden
Even big
areas,
holes.
like the city under the city. Like that. You're gonna get me every time.
Yep.
Yeah. Have you been in our gypsum mines?
I was when I was a kid in my earth science class when I was growing up in Muskegon. I actually was able to come over here and tour one of those.
But everyone except me. Everyone.
Yeah.
You never got to do that.
I want to go down.
No one invites me.
Luke Skywalker
know it's too much beer down there.
You either.
That's what the problem is.
No, he hasn't.
Luke Skywalker's been down there.
Yeah, he has.
Yep. Nothing's coming up roses for you, Joe.
Never.
You can see.
This. Is this the most satisfying job you've had as a journalist or a reporter?
The range of stories that I can do with this is never ending.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I can still feed my love for sports. I was a sports anchor here in Grand Rapids for 2 decades. And and I was sports director for 10 years. And now if I find a good sports story like Roy or whatever, I still am able to do that and still be able to kind of dip into that realm. But now I'm
in a different way.
To just do all these different things, and I would say absolutely this is the most rewarding.
That's fantastic.
It is.
It's
Brent
great you get to
Ashcroft.
do it.
You can see the news story for the first time. It will air Sunday night after the Oscars on WZZM, and I'm guessing it will be repurposed throughout the week, and it'll obviously be on.
Yeah, they'll attach it to a web story, and people can watch it online too. But yeah, please tune in on Sunday night and check it out. It's a can't miss story, believe me. It's good stuff.
Awesome.
Brent, good to see you.
Good to see you guys.
Thank you.
It's Tool, 97.9 GRD Rocks. See you later.